Don't you mean downstairs? Asked Stan. Not at all, said Miss Marbles. Any fool can fall downstairs. Falling upstairs is harder. Then I haven't, said Stan. He was starting to think he might have scored better on a spelling test. Miss Marbles went back to her desk and shuffled through a pile of papers till she found a card. She gave it to Stan. Take a look at these pictures, she said. Do you recognise them? Yes, Stan nodded. And have you got any of them? No, said Stan. It's nothing to be ashamed of, said Miss Marbles. My cousin had webbed feet and they came in very useful. Stan glanced at his mum, who clearly thought Miss Marbles was as nutty as a fruitcake. The head teacher sat back down and wrote something in a notebook. The ginger cat had escaped under the desk. Well, I think that will do for now, she sighed. As far as I can tell, you are perfectly normal. Thank goodness for that, laughed Mrs. Button. Yes, there are many schools where normal children do very well, said Miss Marbles. Unfortunately, Mighty High isn't one of them. Our children are, how shall I put it, extraordinary. Stan wondered if extraordinary meant they had superpowers. It would certainly explain some of the potty questions. Miss Marbles was still talking. Let's do a few physical checks. Stand up for a moment, would you, Stan? Stan did as he was told. You see that wall? Said Miss Marbles, pointing to the far end of the room. I'd like you to run at it. Sorry? Said Stan. Run at it as fast as you can. Don't worry about the damage. But it's a wall, Stan pointed out. I know, but let's just see what happens. Stan looked at his mum, who widened her eyes. There was nothing for it. He took a few deep breaths and ran at the wall. Maybe it hid some sort of secret doorway that would reveal itself at the last moment. Thunk! There. That wasn't so difficult, was it? Asked the head teacher, peering down at him. Are you okay? I think so. Stan sat up, rubbing his head. Did I do it right? Perfectly well, though some children make more of a dent, said Miss Marbles. Stan felt that in some vague way he had failed the test. Well, I think that's all, unless you have any questions, said Miss Marbles. Mrs. Button blinked. She had 1,000,001 questions, but she hardly knew where to start. Miss Marbles hadn't said a word about things like class sizes, lessons, or homework. What about school dinners? She asked at random. Eat them by all means, said Miss Marbles, though I wouldn't advise it. Mrs. Sponge is the most terrible cook. And school uniform? Asked Mrs. Button. We don't have one, said Miss Marbles. Of course I insist on capes, but they mustn't get under their feet. Capes? Asked Mrs. Button faintly. Yes, children like to choose their own colour, red, gold, silver, it's quite up to you. Now, if that's everything I really must get on, may I show you out? Stan followed the head along the corridor. Again, he had the sinking feeling that he had failed without knowing why. It was like playing a game where no one told you the rules. And now that the interview was over, he felt strangely disappointed. Why wasn't he extraordinary like the children who got into the school? They stepped outside into the bright morning light. Suddenly, Stan's ears began to prickle. It was the strange feeling he always got when something bad or alarming was about to happen. He didn't stop to think.